Hello everybody, welcome back to the Jade Empire walkthrough. We were just heading back to the school after beating down the bandits, I believe it was. And did we take care of, I think we took care of some of Gao's men too. And so, you know, depending on which way you're going, obviously I'm going the open palm route, but you can, you know, now that I think about it, so you don't necessarily have to go with one or the other. You know, just wanna say that right now. But there are a couple of gems as well as two styles. So, sorry, there's a couple of different styles actually, and you have to go down one route or the other, or start down that route. You can switch later after you've obtained them, but you know, that's I almost you know, as far as like a power gaming standpoint, I guess you can very well do that, you know, and not necessarily go down one path, or you can switch, you know, partway through the game and then switch to the other one. You know, I guess that kind of goes to, or that's just kind of up to you, you know, whatever you want to do. But I guess I wouldn't necessarily worry about that until actually you've played the game, you know, probably all the way through it at least once. I just think that there's a lot there's a lot of intricacies to the game that you may miss out on. And you know, definitely from a role-playing standpoint, it's more. I felt like the game is more enjoyable to kind of go down one or the other. You know, you can switch it up. You know, and definitely.
An honor. Are you sure
There's definitely some reasons here and there to go, you know, one way or the other, or solve a quest, you know, or a side quest mini.
Here and continue my meditation.
Sorry, yeah, mini. What am I trying to say here? A side quest, one way or the other. But anyways, you know, again, that's up to you. But I would definitely recommend waiting until at least your second time to do that. Here. What is this? Okay, so student when basically almost all of, like, I would say the named students, because there's actually quite a few students that you can walk up to and their name is just student. You know, they're not like a named, and they don't have any extra dialogue. But most of the, you know, named students will let you spar with them, so you can, you know, get a little bit of experience. It is not much. And in the grand scheme of things, 32 EXP is nearly nothing.
This has been a busy day for us all. Is there something you need?
So here is Kia Min.
When I hear news like this.
Oh yeah. So okay, we did get the red silk grass. And again, no, that's for the open palm points. You can really do some messed up stuff on the closed fist side. You can, you know, tell her that it was for one thing, you can give her the bearded tongue grass.
That's very kind of you.
Excuse me.
Thank you enough.
Which she will then injure herself when you train with her, and then I believe later on even that eventually leads to her death. So you know, and then on top of all that, you know, you can lie to her and tell her that it cost more silver than it really did to try to get some more money out of her. So you can just, like I said, you can do some really, really crappy things to people in this game. You know, and like I said, like, you know, I said it in one of the other videos, the whole mentality behind closed fist versus open palm, you know, is, I like the idea behind it, but some of it just seems like, I don't know. Some of it's almost just, I don't know. It's really bad. It's really bad stuff.
What can I do?
You know, and again, I wouldn't necessarily that.
Yes. And now
I wouldn't say that it's good versus evil, but man, some of the results of those choices just are, yeah, like I said, they're just so bad that.
I believe she will
I mean,
provide a
you know,
fine
from
show.
one thing, like the whole
Then I will have a special
the whole Kia Min thing is actually a really good example. So obviously, if you use the red silk grass, she's able to train with you and then not get injured, and eventually, without, I don't really want to give away any spoilers. I think that if you're watching this, I I almost want to just say a disclaimer that I'm not always going to watch myself, you know, so, and that's typically how I do my walkthroughs, is with the expectation or the assumption maybe that, you know, people have already played through the game. You know, I'll try not to give things away, but I mean, it's a whole different, you know, result, I guess, from, you know, essentially being able to train with her and her not getting injured, and she'll be able to hold her own later because, like I said, so there's going to be an event that happens, and she'll live, you know, if you picked the open palm responses and went through the side quests that way, and she will die if you went with the closed fist. So you know, again, very, very different outcomes from your choices. And, you know, the philosophy behind the choices, you know, again, I feel like they do a pretty good job explaining, you know, why open palm followers do the things they do and why, you know, closed fists do. And it is, again, it's really easy to just boil it down to good versus evil because, again, some of the you know, open palm choices look really good, and you know, for the most part, you know, you could construe them as being like a good choice, whereas the the closed fist choices typically are pretty bad stuff. Like the results are usually rough. So. All right, so Smiling Mountain here has now that everybody, or now that Kiamin is healed, obviously we already did the fight with her and the other, what was it, 4? Is it 4 fighters? So 4 fighters plus her for the total of 5. And then if you want his, I believe it's the alloyed body technique. We'll find out here in a second. But you have to finish all of the training with all of the different, you know. So for one thing, when you first talk to him, you can only spar with one student, and then once I believe it's actually, yeah, if you have to heal Kiramin, or if it's just after you. No, I think it's just after you get the bandits taken care of. Then you can fight with more students. There's 2, 3, 4, and then if you've healed Kiamin, or, you know, used the bearded tongue caress, that, you know, she'll be able to fight, and then you'll be able to take on the record.
I am sorry.
All right, so
does not permit such techniques to be
I don't know what technique that was actually.
There is danger
So
such power if you are
Master
not
Lee obviously fights the
demonstrate
you know, the
those
bandit,
skills
or
very
the Lotus Assassin down at the beach. And here we're asking, you know, Smiling Mountain about it, and I don't think that.
I cannot offer the fight you wish.
Yeah, he doesn't tell you. He won't tell you what it is, and I don't know if that's actually in the game or if there's like a form of it in the game. I'm not really sure. I mean, the main character doesn't ever get to bust any ships, you know, apart, so. All right, here you go. Alloyed Body and Lessons of the Forge. Okay, so we got 2. And now I don't remember what's the reward for which. Or did I buy Allied Body? I bet that's what it was. Yeah, that's got to be it, right? Let's see here. Nope. Alloyed Body, that has to be something else. Okay, descend. Huh, okay. And then what's Lessons of the Forge here? Okay. So, of the 2, it looked like Alloyed Body was, you know, huge. That gave, like, what was it, a total of plus 10 to our stats.
They'd probably skin me
You know,
alive.
was it health 5 and chi 5 or something like that, and then Lessons of the Forge was only plus 2 health.
Seems you
like
have
that.
everyone on your side again.
So my guess would be Lessons of the Forge is probably sparring with 1 student, 2, 3, and 4, and then I'm betting that Alloyed Body is the beating Kiamin's record. That's my guess anyway. I don't remember the exact.
So you are at their beck and call? A service animal for those too weak to protect themselves.
But here we've
An
got
endless,
Gao
endless
obviously
road to go
being
down. There are always victims, always weaklings. You could live a
he's
thousand
actually
lives and
he
still
makes a
someone
really
would
good
be
bad
begging
guy.
for your
I
help.
really like his character. I invest so I may reap.
Is that what that fat carp said? I suppose he said that I'm on the wrong path, or don't know the way. Garbage. All of it.
Is that what that fat carp
I
said?
surpassed his ability long ago. He's jealous, like the rest of you. You'll all see what I'm capable of soon enough. I'm done with you. Go talk to your precious master. Training will not resume until he has met with you. Finish your errands and talk to your master.
Ah, you are back. I hope this unfortunate matter with the bandits has not caused undue stress. Some good people were lost, but many were saved. It means, however, that I must accelerate your training. These invaders discovered us by accident, but as you likely suspect, they are related to your destiny. You have trained hard and are ready. You will have a pivotal role in some great events, my student, after you return from the Spirit Cave.
I object!
Gao, what is the meaning of this intrusion?
Your pet student is not the only one who fought those outlaws. Perhaps I did not stand in their midst on the beach like a fool, but I did my part. If you spent less time coddling him, you would have many promising students instead of one.
This is not a matter that can be decided by effort, Gao. There are things at play that you do not understand.
I understand that this student has received preferential treatment, and I have suffered for it. Whatever is in this spirit cave, I am worthy of facing it too. If he is truly better than me, let him prove it. I challenge him.
I will not have you brawling in the street. If this must happen, it will happen in the ring, as a proper test of your abilities. Gao, you are restricted to styles that I have taught. I know the dark tutoring your father, Gao the Greater, has imparted, but I won't have any such sorcery here.
Hobbled before I begin. Of course. How else would your precious protege win?
My student, I do not trust Gao to fight honorably. Consider your attacks carefully. Prepare yourself and return when you are ready. Remember the basics. They will serve you well.
Alright, so Gao wants to fight, but I was going to take a little field trip here. I mistakenly thought that I'd be able to finish the, and you know what, now I'm not going to remember the name of the quest, but there's a quest that you can finish up here in the village. And I believe I talked about it earlier. So we defeat the bandits down, oh, what is it? It's to the right here, right after you come into town. And there's like a little, like an alcove or something like that of a couple of different houses. I guess like a little cul-de-sac. But there's a chest there, and I believe it's got like 200 silver in it. And the quest, like I said, I made the mistake of thinking I could finish it now, but I don't believe it can be completed until after the Spirit Cave. So you know, like I said, I went up here, and normally the NPC would be standing right around here. So yeah, so I'm looking around, and obviously the NPC's not here yet. So like I said, I mistakenly thought that I could finish it now, but that was not the case. So we're gonna shoot the breeze with Guard Young a little bit.
Opponents. Of course, that didn't stop Gao the Lesser from beating a few of them senseless. That boy enjoys causing pain.
That boy enjoys causing pain.
You won't tell anyone about what happened, will you? I couldn't leave my post, you know. I can't keep watch over the students if I'm dead.
So yeah, so Gao obviously, like I said earlier, he makes a pretty good villain.
Right, and I will. While I'm
Typical.
still alive.
I guess if I would categorize him one or the other, he's very very much stronger, or definitely more.
Two rivers may be
I don't know. I think his mindset is more in tune with the closed fist
farewell
philosophy. if that wasn't obvious already. But then on top of that, though, you know, even saying that, though, I think that he's just kind of a little bit. He's even a little bit different in that, you know, like obviously, so Guard Young said there, he just enjoys inflicting pain, and you know, I don't know if you can necessarily say that that's, you know, a trait in common with closed fist people. I think that can definitely be true in some cases, but you know what is, so he's egotistical, which is, you know, how do you, I forget how the good descriptive words for the closed fist people, but arrogance was one of them. You know, selfishness, that was another. So, and I think he definitely fits in there. So it sounded like Gao's father wanted him to learn here at the school, you know, just for power reasons. And the only reason why Master Li took him on as a student was he was trying to reduce maybe his father's influence, or kind of make him see that that wasn't the best path, I guess. But unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way, and he kind of ended up rotten anyway. So, alright, let's head back. Let's head back and beat Gao's ass. I think that's pretty much it, too, for the side questy stuff right now. I don't think there's really anything else going on.
It's all.
Gao awaits your signal to start the challenge, my
Let's
student.
do it.
I will explain what I can after we have dealt with Gao's interruption.
Trust that I am right.
Confuse matters. Trust that I am right. Then let the fighters meet in the arena.
So I think I think Master Li does that a couple of times in the game, and you'll definitely see that after the whole Spirit Cave conversation, where he's like, "You just have to trust me. You just have to." And yeah, it's a tough one to swallow.
Possibility. I think it is more than likely.
Master, are you certain this is appropriate?
You certain this is appropriate?
We have a dispute, and this is the only way to settle it with certainty. It will be an honorable contest. I have restricted Gao from using his father's sorcery.
He's got a point. They have a dispute. The only way they're gonna, you know, resolve it is by beating each other's asses. Because that's how we do things, right? And I think Gao here, I think he's using, what is it? I always want to say Ogre. It's one of the styles that I've never used. I've actually literally never used it. You know, there's Legendary Strike, there's 1,000 Cuts. There's the Leaping Tiger. What is it, White Demon or White Ogre? Something like that. I wish I remember. Again, I barely ever use it. I believe that it hits pretty hard, but it's slow, I guess. Again, I've never used it, so I can't really, you know, talk about it much.
It is done. The challenge has concluded. And
all right, that's what's up. Show Gao what's boss. And again, I think that, you know, with like a lot of the fights, it's best to just, you know, evade. I love the evade command. I don't really like to use the block, you know, so, you know, I like to jump around a bit.
Gao,
and that's huge. I know the first time I ever played the game, I guess I didn't really know how to do that, and it made the game really hard. Like really hard.
And your father's house shall have no more business here, despite his influence.
I was not beaten! Not by this peasant!
You were defeated by your own foolish ambition and predictable temper. I will speak with you in my chambers about your expulsion. Go now. Everyone, This challenge is concluded. I'm sure the victor would appreciate your congratulations. They are well earned. Enjoy the words of your fellows. I will wait in the main hall, where we will discuss the spirit cave. Be certain you are ready when you come to me. Your life is about to change.
That was exciting. I'm glad you were safe. I knew you would be. Your skill is unmatched. Even Gao had to see that. I suppose that's what set him off. I hope he isn't allowed to stay. Punishment just makes him worse. Master Li has bent like a willow to accommodate him and his sorcerer's father. But don't you wish that some things made more sense? Anticipation is grueling. So much could be happening that you just don't know about. It scares me sometimes, all this talk of troubled spirits. I didn't ask to be a part of it. As much as you want to know more, I doubt you had a say in your fate either. I'm sorry. This is supposed to be a happy time. You've proven your ability and Master Li is waiting for you. You should go to him. You should speak with Master Li. He will want you to enter the spirit cave soon.
Master Li has disciplined Gao many times, but it just makes the fool more angry.
Gao was a fool to challenge you. You have always been better than him.
Gao was a fool to cheat. Our teacher is a kind man, but he is not soft and doesn't tolerate that kind of thing. You'll face worse things than Gao in the cavern if what I've heard is right. I hope you're ready. What do you need from me? No one really knows anything about that cavern, except that Master Li has strictly forbidden us to go in there. He has always said that it is a place of final testing. I hear whispered rumors that there's something horrible down there. I even asked around town, and there's old stories of masters before ours sending students into that cavern, and the students never finding their way out. I don't have a clue, but I don't envy you having to go down there. Then again, you are the strongest of us, as we're so often reminded, so you'll be fine. This is all rumor, mostly gossip from the people in Two Rivers. As I said, no one really knows what's down there. Well, no one but you, once you tell Master Li you're ready. If you wish, what do you want to ask about? You think I will talk of no... All of us get a little envy. Quite a bit, as I've said. Leaving so soon?
You fought well, and the record is yours. I'm happy for you and couldn't care less about the record. It was just good to fight again and feel no pain. I'm a bit tender right now, but that's to be expected. I should be in much better shape before long. This day has been full for you, and you still have the cavern to face. If you listen to Lin parroting the villagers' stories, that place has a dark past, but I'm sure Master Li wouldn't send you into unreasonable danger. What can I do for you? I haven't talked to many...
Master Li once asked me not to use the style I learned in the Imperial City. It was a fair request, so I agreed. Gao should have known better than to use a forbidden style. What can I do to help you? I don't know anyone else who displays the skill you do. Dawnstar would be next, with... I haven't been here long enough to hear anything but rumors. Everyone prefers not to think about that place. I certainly don't envy you for having to go down there. Goodbye. Take care of yourself.
Gao was a fool for challenging you. Oh, he's good. but you've always been stronger. He just wouldn't admit it to himself. Thing is, your prize is going into the cavern beneath the school. To hear Lin tell it, that place is going to challenge even you. Next to nothing. I know Master Li forbids us to go in there until our final test, but that's about the only fact I have. I hate repeating stories that aren't my own. Lin has no such qualms, so go ask her about the cavern. Unlike...
Gao's actions were foolish. He knew he could not beat you fairly, and so he chose to catch you by surprise. Is there anything you need? Perhaps a training session with some of the students. It would do them good. Goodbye.
It's always good to... Unlike Gao, I want to learn my lessons properly.
Alright. Now that we're done bragging, guess we could run around a little bit. It's looking here like I ran to town again to see if I could finish that quest. So we'll see if I can actually do that now. I don't remember the actual point that it can be completed. I thought it was after the Spirit Cave, but we'll see. All right. As far as I just want to bring up a little bit about how I level up. I really go like a heavy balance. Does that make sense? A heavy balance? That doesn't really make sense. I just go balanced. I don't really focus on one particular stat over another. I like to keep everything the same just because.
Do you have a moment?
I don't know.
Oh, senior student.
If you don't plan on using like a whole lot of weapon styles, and you know what, here it is. Here's the NPC, so you can complete it now before the Spirit Cave, actually.
So I'd almost given up hope.
There's multiple ways of finishing this. I believe if you keep all the money,
glad to see you.
That's how you get closed fist points. If you keep half, you get open palm, and if you keep half, you get open palm points. I think I spent a bunch of the money, so there was no way I was going to be able to give him back the full 200 because I was buying.
Would you happen to know what happened?
What were those things from Smiling Mountain? I saw no chest.
Oh my. Well, that's all right.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, my bad. I spent a bunch of it.
I was thinking that while the silver is mine, you deserve a reward for all your good work. What say you to half of
this is kind of one of those deals, too, where, like I was saying earlier, if you wanted to, you don't necessarily have to. If you're going open palm, you don't have to pick the open palm response here. You could, by all means, you could keep all the money and take some closed fist points. It's completely up to you. I just, for role-playing sake and I guess kind of for... and not necessarily role-playing sake, but I generally just stay, down, or I go down one path and I stay
a rat always
the
flashes
whole
his
way.
fangs
So,
when backed into a corner.
yeah. So, like I said, you can technically pick whatever you want, but I just went. I went down the open palm path.
And bandit attacks are virtually unheard of. Who wants to rob farmers? Rice isn't worth enough to carry it away. The only real visitor we have is
all right. Okay, so here, the weaponsmith, is it Gujin? I think it's his name. Here he's actually referring to.
The best thing about this place is Master
He's
Li
referring to Sagacious Zoo,
It's like
so
the man was
he's
born
talking
to it.
about a man that comes to town.
I never caught his name.
Get
And he
supplies.
shies away from the village proper.
Yeah, I never
so
caught his name, and he
prefers
shies
it
away
that
from
way.
the village.
His visits are so rare, I'm not surprised you haven't heard of him. Merchant
Oh yeah,
Van
okay.
Gogh
So he
won't
says
even speak of the
he
matter.
visits here
Gives
so
him a few
rare
basic supplies and lets him go.
that
Oh,
it's
well,
it's
no
no
concern of ours.
wonder
If a
why
man
you've never
wants
heard
to
of him.
keep to himself, I say
And
we
apparently the merchant won't even talk about him. That's kind of weird. I don't know, whatever. Maybe they've got
I
some
may be
sort
the
of deal
weapon
going
master
on
around
where
here, but it's Master
they
Li
don't.
who really does the
I
trading.
don't know.
I help out, but he's the real reason you are so good.
You know, obviously we're gonna meet him
I
in a
used
little
to
bit,
be
but
a guard
Sagacious
in
Dude,
Broken Path,
you know, definitely
a
does
little
keep to
town in the
himself, and he
western
doesn't,
part of the Empire. It was a sleeping
he
place
doesn't
like
want
this,
to
though the residents were
draw
miners, not
attention to
farmers.
himself in any way.
That whole province is called the Hills of the Six Holy Scrolls for a reason.
So here, Gujin, we're asking him actually a little bit about his home, you know, before he came here. And it's actually kind of interesting. He does talk about the drought and essentially why he had to leave his old home to come here. And
dozens of them charging from the west.
yeah, he says, so it says about 10 years ago something happened and ghosts just kind of started coming everywhere.
Some of
Or
them
coming,
didn't even look human anymore.
well,
Like
to his
monsters they
old
were.
home. And again, you know, really all this, the cool thing is really all this stuff ends up tying together. So,
But beyond that,
you know, I guess keep this kind of stuff in mind.
is that these days I hear
And
more
you know,
more
again, like I said
stories
in
about
I believe the
ghosts
first
haunting
episode, you know,
I wonder if we
it definitely, I will be honest, it gets a little bit tedious if you've already played the game before.
there are an awful lot
It gets a little tedious to, for me anyway, it gets a little tedious to talk to everybody and go through every single one of their dialogue options. A lot of the NPCs will tell you very similar things, but there are little gems like this guy, you know, that mentions Sagacious Zoo that kind of tie some things together, you know. So, you know, I guess just be on the lookout for that. Again, if you're, you know, if you like this game because of the story, then you're definitely going to want to
there's no peace for the
to
dead,
do this kind of stuff,
except
you
to
know,
go
and
to
just
the
explore
underworld, like
everybody's
most
dialogue
everyone does
options.
when they die.
You know, by no means do you have to, and if you really just like jumping around and fighting dudes, then you know, and the story isn't your main focus, then by all means just skip the stuff. You don't, you know,
Soon enough,
you don't necessarily need to.
It was deserted.
And hey, that's
still
what
sore
walkthrough is
from the
for.
fighting. I made my way south to what I found to be more peaceful lands.
Okay, so soon enough, broken path became an empty path.
You're right.
So they fought the ghosts as long as they could, and eventually they just had to leave. Is the way it sounds. And again, you know, eventually we're gonna learn where the ghosts came from or why the ghosts started popping up like they did.
Is a welcome customer.
I think
What can I do for you?
Fendo here. I don't think he has anything yet.
I have
For sale. Yeah, I don't think he's actually gonna have anything for sale until we're done with the Spirit Cave, and then he'll have a couple of junk gems. But I wouldn't recommend buying any of those. In fact, I don't think I can recommend buying any gems in the game, short of there's one way later that
I always knew that Gao
that is actually unique, and that's, you know, the only way to get it, and it's semi-useful. So I guess I'll leave it at that, and we'll talk about that once we actually get there. But that'll be that's quite a few videos out, so I guess don't stress that one too much. But I'm going to cut this video here, so like, comment, subscribe, whatever you guys want to do. Hope the guides are helpful, though. Hope you're liking it, and I hope you join me for more. All right, thanks for watching.
Ah, there you are. Have you finished all your business with your fellow students? I expect our next conversation to change a great many things. You should be ready. Then leave me to deal with Gao and return when you are ready.